It's a small price to pay for late-night deliciousness. A massive, properly greasy cheeseburger, enduring symbol of freedom.
That's looking good. That is deeply satisfying. It's the onions. Yeah.
That's really filling.
So now, to sleep, to dream,
Yeah, let's dream of
the chance to fart.
Only one person would say that at this table. Welcome back to CBS This Morning. That would be you, Anthony Bourdain, one celebrity chef who will never teach you how to make a perfect hollandaise sauce.
He's too busy traveling the world and eating anything that he can find on his television show, No Reservations. Welcome.
Before you get started, where was that place in Kansas City? I love a good burger.
It's
Where was
called
it?
Town Topic. It's sort of a beloved greasy spoon, open late night for the post-bar rush.
Okay.
Now, tell us about this woman who, 85 years old, she did this review, and you
Of the
saw it
Olive Garden,
and loved it.
Marilyn Hagerty wrote from the Grand Forks, North Dakota Press, wrote a small article, a review of the new Olive Garden opening up in her neighborhood. And of course, it became sort of an immediate viral sensation. People were putting it up as the most hilarious and mockable review ever. And of course, that was my first instinct as a New Yorker, as somebody who's eaten all over the world, to sneer. And then her reaction was I don't know, so dignified and
genuine,
genuine, and the review itself was so heartfelt. And this is a woman who's been reporting for the paper, 5 columns, I think, for 30 years. I thought, wow, she's making us all look bad. This is the way much of America eats. And I just thought, actually, this body of work, these 30 years of reviews of dining in North Dakota is, in a sense, a history of dining in America. And I thought, I want to publish this person. And in fact, I will be doing just that.
So you guys are going to work together with a book deal. Very nice.
Yes. I'm meeting with her later today.
Very nice. But Time Magazine once called you one of the most honest people in media. And I'm wondering where that comes from, because you really do have a no-holds-barred opinion about anything that you talk about, whether it's politics, whether it's about food. As a little kid, were you the type of person that just always spoke exactly what you were thinking?
Yeah, I was a bit of a showboat. I mean, I was a rotten kid with a vocabulary, and I used it to get into trouble, to get out of trouble. I see it as a personal failing, honestly. I mean, I'd change if I can.
Would you change if you could? Everybody always says a person can change.
Well, I don't, not me, but I don't know.
Because it's working for you.
It would be an easier. I'd like to be more diplomatic, honestly, if I could.
But the interesting thing about him is that he turned the life of a chef, which he's talked to me about, into this phenomenal new career of just traveling around the world, finding things that he likes.
I was standing next to a deep fryer
It's called
at age
falling
44,
forward.
and overnight everything changed for me, and I now, I have the best job in the world.
I think you do too, because I too love food, and I often think I would love to have your job, except I'm not as brave as you are. I mean, to me, you are fearless in your culinary palate. Is there nothing that you will not eat or will not try?
I'm against, in principle, shark fin, so I'm doing everything I can to avoid that. But my feeling is that I found that in order to have the great meals in this life, you have to be open to the possibility that you're going to have a bad one.
Yes.
And you're never going to get those once in a lifetime sort of the magical confluence of events where everything comes together in an experience you're going to remember for the rest of your life. If you're not willing to, maybe get a little, a little backlash from a street meat meal.
So what have you learned from all this?
That the world is actually a somewhat nicer place than I would have thought. That it is much bigger. That people with very little are often who have very little in their lives and very little access to expensive ingredients are often the most generous and cook the best.
Yeah.
It's nice at my age to get to learn stuff on a regular basis, and this job keeps me learning.
What is your age?
I'll be 56 in June.
Oh, you're a baby.
So you're a little bit less cynical, maybe?
I like to think so. It's hard to go to some of the places, to be the recipient of random acts of kindness again and again and again, year after year, from people with very little. You can't come out of that unchanged.
No, I agree with
a little less cynical.
There's an enormous amount of sort of really hardworking, dignified people out there, day by day, with no particular ambition in sight
or agenda,
just to have a good life.
Yeah.
What stuns me again and again is people complain about we don't have time to cook and we don't have a lot of money to make good food. This is why we eat cheap, bad, processed food. Rice farmers in Vietnam, and traditional farmers in France hundreds of years ago, they had no time, no money, and no good ingredients. Somehow,
they found a way.
People in this world find a way
work.
to cook with pride and cook well.
With your world traveling, what have you learned that we're doing right in this country when it comes to food, and what have you learned that we're doing not so great?
Well, I think I'm pretty hopeful. I think things are getting better. People care more about what they're eating. Clearly, they're concerned about what's going in. They think about who's cooking it. They're more open to trying new things. These are good times to be cooking in America for sure, and I think more and more they're good times to be eating in America.
With all this happiness you're having, would you like to open a restaurant again?
If I learned anything in 30 years in a restaurant business, I will never open a restaurant. I've had enough.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Always good to see you,
Thank
Anthony
you, guys.
Bourdain.